tournament has made his third telecast of the year, is trying for his third career win from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Steve Jaros. Our third seed is a former touring pro who's only bowled in 3 tournaments in the last 3 years from Oshkosh, Mike Shady. Our semifinal match features the reigning IOF PBA Player of the Year, #1 ranked, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. And our tournament leaders making his second consecutive appearance in the championship round, looking for that first elusive win from Bel Air, Maryland, Tim Criss. And Bo, there's excitement, there's noise, they're ready.
You're right, Chris, and just to look at the field real quickly, the momentum goes with George Branham. He qualified by winning an overtime match against Mark Williams last night. The favorite has to be Walter Ray in the #2 position. As we look at this first match, we have to wonder if the tournament leader jinx will continue. Our tournament leader, who is Tim Criss, he will inherit a 0-4 record on ABC this year. Now, George Branham III, former Firestone Tournament Champions champion, first shot.
Well, the 34-year-old has socked one into the pocket. First telecast of the year.
So he's sitting pretty now after his first frame. Steve Jaros of Bolingbrook, Illinois, led the first round of this championship. Third telecast of the year. Second here a year ago. High hit, leaving the 4th end.
Steve Jaros won 8 out of his last 9 matches last night to just sneak into the top 5 by 7 pins. However, his TV record in the arena finals is 0-3, so he has not won, and this is one of the reasons. He sends the ball wide, just avoids the 4-7-10 split, easy spare.
These are gleaming temporary lanes that have been installed,
2 pairs, 4 lanes inside Civic Center. And this is a wonderful arena. It's the home to the ERIE Otters, team of the Ontario Hockey League.
Oh, boy.
Wouldn't topple for Steve Jaros, the 10 pin.
Steve a little offline on both his opening frames, high on both shots, throws that soft hook in lane 3 of this 4-lane establishment, which was built over the last 2 days by AMF. Hooks a little bit more.
all right, 2 spares.
Jaros and George Branham of Indianapolis now with a strike up, shooting in the 2nd frame. It's his first arena final. He led after the 2nd round. He'll settle for that, a 10.
George struggled with the approaches a little bit before we started on the air today, and you see him stick a little bit here and doesn't send the ball wide enough on the right-hand lane. Gets a good break. Could have had the 6-9-10. Ends up with a fairly easy spare, something he practiced before we went on the air.
Great way to get into the final by winning a 1-game roll-off against Mark Williams
to take down the #5 spot. So he has a chance today, Bo, to make 1997 a little brighter.
Well, George is a great player, Chris, and but he's like a lot of tour players. He's a momentum player. When he gets hot, gets his confidence going, he's almost unstoppable, and that's what George needs right now. Get a win under his belt.
He also converted a 7-10 during the week here in the Flagship Open. George Branham.
He doesn't want to leave any of those today.
No. Jaros, at whom we're looking, was 11th with 8 games to go. Then moved into 6th, then up to the #4 spot.
All right. Cheers are being led here by the Harbor Creek cheerleaders.
An alumnus of that school today, Chris,
Yes.
is our guest announcer, Bob Warren Jr., who we'll see a little bit later.
And here we have also the Central High School Jazz Band. We'll be hearing from them throughout the afternoon. just wouldn't come up, Bo.
Well, the left-hand lane, he gives it a little bit of room, and his ball just does not finish it. It rolls out. Now watch the action of this ball. He starts at about the 21st board, out to about the 2nd board, does not make the turn. Easy spare with a conversion. Steve will trail by 1.
This is our first game of the Flagship Open. We're on the shores of Lake Erie in Erie, Pennsylvania. And did you realize that Erie is the state's 3rd largest city?
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power.
I like being in control. With this new Dinerex, I control the cause of my dandruff every day.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula. Its medicine doesn't just treat the symptoms. It controls a leading cause of dandruff called Peel Valley.
Now that's serious control.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula.
Here's the easy way to a beautiful lawn. Miracle Grow Lawn Food. It stimulates root growth, helps fill in thin spots to give you a thick, beautiful carpet of green. Miracle Grow Lawn Food does all the work. You get all the credit.
Erie Civic Center. 5,000 fans have paid their way in here, Bo, to see the finals of the Flagship Open.
It's a good group, Chris. It always has been. This is our 4th year, and this is pretty much the godfather of the arena finals. And one thing, a story that's kind of unfolding, is we don't have the same lane conditions we had last year. These are new lanes. The PBA has a new, tougher lane maintenance system this year, so it's going to be some tough match play. Here we go, George Branham.
Yes. George started strike spare, now with a double, has an 11-pin lead. Can up it as he goes over the left lane now to show his skills.
George, a great all-around athlete at Cal Poly High, played basketball, football, was a sure-handed receiver like our friend and stage manager Tom Gatewood was at New York Giants.
All right, 21-pin lead for George Branham here in our first match against Steve Jaros.
Anytime a great power player trips a 4, he's got to love it. He knows he can carry the light hit. He's got plenty of power. You give him that trip 4, look out.
Steve Jaros has a 2nd and a 3rd finish here in 1997. Strikes are hard to come by.
Whew. Right now he's got a very difficult split, and Steve doesn't throw very hard, but at this point in the match he's trying to get the ball over here in the 6-10 zone, either bounce the 6 out into the 4 or try to slide the 6 over into the 4 pin. He has to go for it. Extra speed.
So it's our first open of the afternoon, and it's a 35-pin lead now by George Branham.
Jaros should hit the left-hand lane. He likes the lanes basically at night. He bowls much better when he gets a nice free roll. He's a stroker-type player like one of the greats of all time, Chris, Ned Day, that you worked with. A ball very similar to that. He likes the back-end hooker.
Steve's mom, Helen, and his girlfriend, fiance, June D., watching along with you, and there they are. They've been kept busy following him thus far in the bowling tour.
You're right, Chris, as he's made almost every finals this year, and he goes high on the left-hand lane, breaks down the 6-7-10 split, has the 6-10.
Branham back up with 3-bagger, and for George is shooting in the 6th frame. Winner to meet Mike Shady. Then Walter Ray Williams Jr.
George doesn't quite get the pop there as the 6-pin just kind of lies down the channel and doesn't take out the 10. He practiced the spare. He left this in the 2nd frame. No trouble converting. He has to watch the approach.
Next Saturday at 3, 2 Central on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour, it's the Bud Light Championship from Lake Grove, New York, where Phil Ringener is the defending champion. That's next Saturday, 3 Eastern, 2 Central on ABC.
Branham up in the 7th, 34-pin lead over Steve Jaros. You could see his reaction, Chris, immediately when he let go of the ball. He knew it was wide, but he doesn't have to pay such a disastrous penalty. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. And I think the best way to shoot it is get to the left side of the head pin, try to drive the head pin into the 610.
Lots of speed. And it's the first open now for George Branham. Matching that, the lead has been cut to 16. We'll be back. This week, Memory Lane takes us back only 1 year, when Bob Learn Jr. gave us one of the biggest sports stories of the year. The Erie native, who just barely made our telecast by qualifying 5th, drilled us in his first match by bowling only the 10th televised 300 game in PBA history. Oh, he didn't stop there, though, winning 3 more matches to claim his hometown title, while averaging an astounding 282 in the process.
Morning.
Yeah, right. Might have to rethink this quit smoking.
Hey, cold turkey's rough.
What, and that's not that CQ?
It's a big help.
What'd help me is one cigarette. Let's do it.
No.
Just one.
No.
It burns me how calm you are.
That's the CQ.
Only CQ puts the highest level of medicine in your system. A 24-hour stream that's still with you when you wake up.
It helps calm the cravings, you'll see.
Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
Introducing the best thing to happen to breakfast in a generation. New Kellogg's Honey Crunch Corn Flakes.
Sweet life is falling to something gold. It's a kick, it's a crunch taste of honey and a heart of gold.
Sweet honey and nuts baked to an incredible crunch. And under it all, the simple goodness of Kellogg's Corn Flakes, the heart of gold.
Something new that never grows old.
New Kellogg's Honey Crunch Corn Flakes.
Taste of honey and a heart of gold.
They're investigators for the L.A. Coroner's Office.
You two were a team in another life.
She's sexy.
You don't take beer caps off of UTB.
Not with my teeth.
Single.
My kind of gal.
And he's...
I'm divorced, by the way.
I'll spread the word.
Out of luck.
You really have a good time with yourself, don't you?
Sweeping L.A. next Saturday on ABC.
Yes, a year ago, record breaker Bob Learn Jr. right here in his hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania. He earned a bowling SP from ESPN, and he's with us today. Bob?
Hey, Bob, quick question. Lanes aren't as easy as they were last year. What do you think's the difference out there, pal?
Well, it looks a lot tougher getting through the front of the lanes, and then when they do, they project it past the break point and it wants to hang on them.
All right, pal.
What about the carryover from that big day a year ago, Bob?
Well, I tell you what, Chris, I'm still in disbelief, you know. Something you dream about when you're a kid, and then to grow up and actually accomplish that in front of your hometown crowd. And being right here today in front of this setting again brings back a flood of memories, I'll tell you what.
Well, we're proud of you, and we'll hear you throughout the telecast.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Jaros up, 7th frame, trails Branham, who opened in the 7th by 16. All right, he's standing way to the right and moving it right between the 2nd and 3rd arrows.
All right, pretty close. Getting closer. Better.
Pretty close, but he can't afford many more frames without putting some pressure on George Branham III. Right now, Jaros going at a 185 pace, Branham 201.
He'll have to be satisfied with that mark here in the 8th frame. While Branham is up, and he'll try to recover now from that open frame in the 7th. Back to Bob Learn Jr. with Mike Shady. Bob?
Well, Mike, it looks like the guys out there have a lot of trouble with their break point. They're inside, hooking the ball a little bit more. You went a lot more direct during practice. Do you think that's going to be an advantage?
Well, you know, it's really speed control right now. If I can get outside and maintain my speed, make good shots, I think I can score pretty well. But there's no room left, and you got to really control your speed right now.
Well, I tell you what, your team ball great all week. I expect a great show out of you, Mike.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Okay, 6:10 left on the left lane for Branham in the 9th frame.
Well, Chris, he's just having trouble with the left-hand lane. George went wide. He had that washouts open in the 7th. Tries to make an adjustment, goes high here in the 9th. This match is up for grabs. Let's project some strikes for Steve Jaros right here. If he strikes out, he finishes with 205. Branham only going at a 201 pace. It's going to be who can perform in the 10th frame. First match.
Not now. Wait a minute.
Nelson.
Well, he had a solid 9 standing there, and the machine actually knocked it over, Chris. The PBA and American Bowling Congress rules simply state that if the machine assists the pin carry in any way, it must be reset. So they would quickly have somebody on it. He will shoot that 9 pin, and he really wanted that strike.
Tonight, James Earl Jones and Dennis Leary star in The Sandlot, a wonderful baseball movie for the whole family. Then Martin Sheen hosts a look at some of the most spectacular footage from the most dangerous earthquakes, the terrifying truth, tonight on ABC.
Now's a good time for that. Come on.
For Steve Jaros to get back in this match, he must throw 2 strikes right here. 2 strikes would force George Branham to mark any kind of mark in the 10th frame.
Timely one.
Needs to capitalize on that first hit with a second one here in the 10th, and then he has a chance to win.
Again, the left lane.
Right now, Steve Jaros has put himself in position where George Branham only needs 7 pins on the first ball. So stay behind the foul line, hit the head pin, and you're a winner.
.184 for Steve Jaros.
What do you do when you need 7? You go with your best shot. He's hit this right-hand lane very well. Throw it right for the pocket. Winner.
Okay. So it'll be George moving up against Mike Shady. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Go where you wanna go. Find the road you've never taken. This is the tire that changed driving forever. The all-season Goodyear Aqua Tread with the advanced deep groove Aqua Channel that sweeps water away for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. Goodyear Aqua Tread.
Serious freedom. Goodyear.
Would you like to try some Kellogg's Corn Pops?
Thank you.
Go ahead. Take two. Corn Pops today. Very good.
The problem with the cereal that's made like popcorn, only sweeter,
Just one, please.
is that it disappears like popcorn, only faster.
And how are things going?
Fast.
Kellogg's Corn Pops. It's hard to stop when it's Pops.
A month of great boxing begins with a battle for the IBF Junior Featherweight title. Today on Wide World.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Get ready for Robert Altman's gun. Randy Quaid, Rosanna Arquette, Edward James Olmos, Daryl Hannah, Martin Sheen. Different stars. Same trigger.
What's your hurry, big boy?
Gun, premiering next Saturday on ABC.
Hi, this is the Ford Taurus, and here's just a few reasons why it puts you in control. It has a great ride because of its long wheelbase. It gets you in and out of traffic courtesy of a standard V6 engine, speed-sensitive power-assisted steering, and here's a feature that's extremely important to your pocketbook, $1,000 cash back.
Or pay just $215 a month for 24 months.
Ford Taurus, it makes a point of putting you in control.
Factory-to-dealer incentives may save you even more. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
ABC Bowling Lanes, the area leader in recreation for nearly 40 years, now has an offer you can't pass up. When you join a summer league, you can open bowl all summer long for just $1 a game. Whether you're a new, intermediate, or advanced bowler, ABC Lanes offers a league for the entire family. For more information, stop by or call any of our 3 ABC locations. $1 a game for open bowling. That's a deal you can't refuse.
Women who barely got out of bad relationships on the next Montel.
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by Kellogg's, with good taste, nutrition, and value. The best you each morning from Kellogg's. McDonald's, home of America's favorite fries. And Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Okay, we're back again in Erie, Pennsylvania. Excitement galore. One match is finished now. George Branham winning it over Steve Jaros, 200 to 184. And George is one of the interesting people in all of bowling and has had an interesting life, and we'd like for you to get to know him up close and personal. Here it is. The question is, who is George Branham III? Perhaps he's a man of style.
Hey, honey, what about this one?
Yeah, that's nice.
No.
No. We'll take it.
George, you are really a close one.
Or maybe George Branham III is a man of power.
$6 million man.
Style and power. Yeah, that looks like the George Branham we know. But what do we really know about George? Let's start with George I, who pitched in the old Negro League.
When I really knew my grandfather, he was in his 70s, I think, by then. So I guess he's what started me, his genes from being an athlete. My dad, he's helped me quite a bit. He's been my coach. He taught me everything about the basic part of bowling. He don't have to watch for about 5 minutes and he knows what I'm doing wrong. Or if I tell him what's going on, he can kind of pinpoint what my problems are.
A strong family background led to George tying the knot with Jackie.
We went from friendship to dating to very seriously in love and engaged and got married.
When I met Jackie, it changed. I settled down. I concentrated more on her and my career than anything else.
With the addition of little Hadley to the Branham family, that concentration is even more focused.
But you know, that doesn't mean that the fun stops. Another place to relax is home, where George and Jackie often entertain friends who know the Branham style epitomizes the power of love.
We are husband and wife. You know, this is my husband. And we're a family. And if someone has a problem with it, I guess they don't have to look.
Color means nothing. And I don't look at a person for their color. I look at them for their character and what they have to offer.
And the three Branhams call Indianapolis, Indiana their home. George now after his first victory, 200 to 184. We bring in Mike Shady, and though we have not seen him for a while.
Well, Mike Shady is a much improved player, Chris. He bowled on the tour for almost 3 years, touted very highly coming out of college, a college All-American, and he just couldn't seem to cut it big time on the tour, so he went home to pursue other businesses. Right now, he's making basically a cameo performance here at the Erie tournament, visiting his in-laws on spring break. His wife, a school teacher, and he's making the most of it. First shot.
Leaving a two-pin. That had to be a shot that he was happy to get out of his repertoire.
Well, he sends it wide, and the trust is a must or your game is a bust. The late Billy Waylude coined that phrase, and he definitely trusted that. Breaks down to 2-8. Leaves himself probably the simplest spare we have in bowling, the two-pin for a right-hander. Good opening frame. Nothing lost here.
His last television was in 1983. He was fourth in Grand Rapids.
Well, as that article that we saw, that little update stated, here's a true gentleman, but he's a very powerful man. He's got his bench press up to about 250, trained solid weights, and a streak player. He can get red hot.
Powerful ball. Okay, once again, Erie's own Bob Learn Jr.
Well, Steve, you're one of the hottest bowlers on tour this year. You've got 15 out of 16 match plays in a row. Your third TV show, no wins on TV. What's going on out there?
Well, I don't know. I think it's just a little bit of a combination of a little bit of bad luck and a few bad shots at the wrong times. But, you know, I keep getting here. I've gotten a lot of help from Brunswick to get this far every week, and it's going to change sooner or later.
Well, I agree. You know, last year, Parker Bone, he had a tough run of it. He came out this year, went back-to-back. I think you'll see a lot more of Steve Jaros.
Okay, Bob Learn Jr. Good job. And it's a great job with George Branham, too.
And Bob had a good point, Chris. As remember, Walter Ray Williams Jr. just went through 3 years of disaster, couldn't beat him himself on television. Then he won the tournament here a few years back, and he's been red hot since. So it's a confidence thing. Until you've stood out there in the shoes, you have no coach, no timeout, nobody to help you. It's tough to get your confidence.
4, 6, 7, 10, and there isn't much to be said about it.
Well, Mike Shady, who has a PBA win under his belt. He won in Dublin, California, Earl Anthony's Bowling Center. And he beat Parker Bone, one of the great players on tour. But he hasn't been out here on a steady basis, and it's a lot tougher when you're under those TV cameras.
So as an open frame, Mike Shady bowled here last year, coming back home to his wife's hometown.
Mike, one of the touted college players. He won the 1985 National Championship when he was at the University of Wisconsin Lacrosse, then got a 3-year scholarship under the tutelage of Bill Straub at Nebraska and went on to be a 3-time All-American. He needs to draw on some of that experience right now.
Yeah, that's good. Fans here now. Listen to him. So supportive. Trying to get behind him to get him rolling.
Well, this is a really good shot. Normally you'll carry the shot. The 5 drives over, but the 4 pin was nailed by the 7, the head pin coming off the sidewall, and he doesn't get the strike, ends up with a spare.
They're in Erie, Pennsylvania, third largest in this huge state. It's also the hometown of Fred Biletnikoff, one of the finest football ends I ever watched play the game. Three-bagger now for Branham here in his second game, and that one brought a smile.
Well, you see the chiseled body of Branham. A lot of it just from working out all the time, has good personal habits, and once again, I said a streak player. You won't see a guy in better positions. Look at this position of setup. Look at the position of his hand, and watch as he comes through the ball. Absolutely ideal.
3-6-10 on the left.
The only flaw I've seen in George's game today is being a little bit tentative when he could put a player away. He had Jaros on the ropes in the first match and got an open frame here on the left-hand lane. Here he has Shady out on the ropes in the early going and hits high, leaves the 3-6-10, makes the spare.
Erie's Presque Isle State Park juts out 7 miles into Lake Erie. It offers fishing, a place for wildlife, and more.
Some people are learning quite a lot about brakes these days. But what they may not know is that AC Delco has brakes for just about everything on the road. From Fords to Chryslers to Hondas to Toyotas. So, no matter what they drive or how they're driving it, they can trust AC Delco to put a stop to it.
Hey, wake up!
Wake up!
This is my McDonald's.
This is an Egg McMuffin. And this is the greatest thing to happen to breakfast since the Egg McMuffin.
We call it a my-size meal. Buy any drink, any size. Coffee, soft drink, orange juice.
And hash browns.
And get one of 4 hot breakfast sandwiches for just 55 cents.
Look at all these sizes.
55 cents in honor of 1955, the year it all began.
Any size, every day.
If this doesn't get you going,
go back to bed.
Why do you think they call it the tradition? Next on ABC.
Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6.
The Bud Light Championship. Nothing but strikes.
Next Saturday on ABC.
I think you'll agree that Bo and I have a wonderful vantage point here at Civic Center in Erie, Pennsylvania to see all the action. But you have a good view of it too, believe me, because we have the best cameraman going. And we welcome one back after a 10-week absence, Frank Malchiori, out with an illness which he whipped, and we're glad. Frank's always on the camera that shoots Bo and me from the front.
And I see a grin on his face as you see no grin on the face of Mike Shady. He's confused. He looks like he settled down there in that commercial, made a pretty good shot. Remember the right-hand lane a little bit tighter than the left. He was wide with that shot, and he has an easy spare.
Okay, last year the hero here, 282 average, Bob Learn Jr.
Well, guys, I have Walter Ray Williams down here. He's made the show 6 out of 7 years here in Erie. He's always bowled great. He's definitely the crowd favorite. Lanes are a little difficult out there today. Are you going to go with your straight game or your hook game today?
Well, I used my hook game quite a bit in the tournament, but it looks like they're very tough out there. I'm thinking I'm going to go with my A game, which is right up and at them, and hopefully I can shoot a couple of big games to put these guys away.
I got a feeling he's going to figure out what to do, Chris.
That's so. Thanks, Bob. There is Mike Shady's first strike in 5 frames.
Well, Chris, George gets the ball a little left to target, and that's one of the no-nos on the PBA Tour. And he needs to get the ball between the 3-pin and have it deflect into the 10. The easiest way to convert that split. But once again, no oil help or no pull area on the PBA Tour in the center of the lane this year.
Oh, shot.
And that makes even spares tougher. We've seen a lot of open frames so far this year on ABC. Doesn't quite get the deflection. Now, there's some schools of thoughts here. Can you use a 12 or 13-pound ball and convert that? Yes, he would have gotten the deflection to make it. However, the 16-pound ball drives through and has tightened up this match. George only leads by 21.
Roger!
Got up quickly and did perfection. Today at 4:30, 3:30 Central on ABC's Wide World of Sports. You'll see the Valvoline Professional Boxing Series featuring a 12-round IBF junior featherweight bout between Duyani Bunju and Kennedy McKinney. Then it's the Santa Anita Derby presented by Visa. And on Wide World Classic, the Harlem Globetrotters. 4:30, 3:30 Central.
Now, baby.
Big double for the Cornhusker.
One more, Mike.
Chris, I'm going to give you a little tip on that Santa Anita Derby. You have one filly in the race, a Sharp Cat, and I think the boys will all be chasing the girl there. I think it's a one-horse race.
Great. Well,
I know you like that horse race.
Oh, I really do.
Now, you could make this a close race right here. If he can get a third consecutive strike, Branham's lead would only be 1 pin. 7th frame.
That's a three-bagger. And the little cheerleaders from Harbor Creek are up and cheering. KADAVY, an Erie native, skated recently in Erie. Look for Karen at the Hershey Kisses Figure Skating Challenge Sunday, April 27th here on ABC. And there she is live in the arena. Lovely lady. We've done skating.
Rise and shine. You're so obnoxious, but employed.
Nice way to treat your brother.
Here, gotta run.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars.
Low fat, no preservatives. What's it taste like?
A soft crust with real fruit in the filling.
I eat this on my way to work.
Or to an interview.
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars. Start your morning off right. And introducing new mixed berry Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars. 3 berry flavors, 1 luscious real fruit taste. The news is out. Mixed berry season has just begun.
When I lie down at night and heartburn hits, I hate that. To get to sleep, I need to block stomach acid fast. Which blocks it faster? Tagamet HB200. It has more acid blockers than Pepsid AC, so it blocks acid faster. Both are strong, but Tagamet's faster. Now my alarm clock wakes me up, not my heartburn.
Tagamet HB200. More acid blockers help block acid faster.
The tournament leader, Tim Criss, and also Walter Ray Williams are warming up, getting ready for the next matches. Walter Ray went next, and then the tournament leader, Criss. Meanwhile, George Branham, who defeated Steve Jaros 200 to 184, is now in against Mike Shady. Bowen, it's close.
1 pin lead can extend to 11 with a strike here in the 7th. Interesting, entertaining match. First. Well, George has to hit that right-hand lane. There's a difference in this match between the match he had with Jaros. He let Jaros off the hook, but Jaros wasn't lined up. He's throwing the ball everywhere. Mike Shady is lined up, and it behooves George Branham III to start throwing some strikes, because Shady will nail it.
One thing about the arena finals, though, you get bowling fans of all ages in the arena to watch them up close and personal.
Well, it's a different scene than anybody who's ever been in a bowling center will ever see, and it's probably the most entertaining thing that I have done since I've sat with you at 23 years.
Another 310, though.
All right, let's watch George. He's kind of what we call short-arming it now. George has got a lot of power, and if he gives it room to the right, he's got to let that power take over. He's trying to jam it in there. There is no help in the center of the lane. He needs to make this split to maintain the lead. Uh-oh.
Oh, that is a tough break.
Now let's see if Shady can do what Branham has not been able to do. When a man gives him an opening, can he take advantage of it? Shady takes the lead sitting on the bench. Can he really put the screws to George Branham III? 8th frame, he could take a 22-pin lead. Second match.
31 years old, 5'7", 150, and there's Carrie Shady, the 4th grade school teacher.
They met while she was on a bowling scholarship also at the University of Nebraska. And reflecting back that last shot, when Mike Shady was on the tour, he had a loop in his swing, and when he lost a ball like that, it was always big trouble. That time he lost a little bit, but he has a perfectly straight swing in line with his target now, and that gave him a chance to strike.
Five in a row now for Mike Shady. Last TV in 1993 for Mike. Now George. 9th frame.
You know, studying George over the years and all that great talent he has, and he's been a winner out here in the tour, you look at one thing, he's kind of like Walter Ray in one respect. When he gets out to a big lead, Chris, he doesn't seem to put guys away, but once he gets behind, he throws his best shots. He's still in this match. He must strike here to have a chance to win.
Okay. Left lane.
Come on, George.
Well, he stays alive.
Well, you've seen athletes, all the sports, ice skating, boxing, whatever. What is it with a guy when he's not good when he's ahead? Is it just a mental thing?
I think so. I think they lose their the main aspect of their concentration, and they've forgotten about the kill factor.
Good point. Well, he can get back in the match. He has a chance to win if he strikes here. All right now, George Branham has got himself back in the match, but he has to hope for an open from Mike Shady. Branham can finish with 211 as he floundered in the middle 4 frames of this game and has been strong at the end. Shady going at a 223 pace would have to open in the 10th, and we've seen a bunch of them this year.
Come on, George.
Good finish.
Opened with 3 in a row, then he strung 3 and left a 9-pin. Shot a 210 in his second match after having won the first game 200 to Steve Jaros' 184.
Now for Mike Shady, a little bit untested, never before in arenas final, needs a good count and a mark. Strike or spare. He will go on to meet Walter Ray Williams Jr. 10th frame.
Come on, baby. Yes.
That was for the folks in Oshkosh and Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, my colleague Nelson Burton Jr. sets up a sliding drill for a junior bowler.
They're not bad. Basically, you have a pretty good style. However, you have one fundamental mistake which we have to correct in order for you to get to the next level of bowling. And that's basically this. When you get to the foul line, you're letting your foot turn parallel to the foul line. Thereby, your hips are out of line. You can either throw the ball wide to the right, as you just did, or correct it by pulling the ball across the body. So what we have to do is get you to work on sliding your foot perpendicular to the foul line and facing down the lane. A good practice aid is to place some tape down on the approach in the slide area and have the young player try to slide their foot in that area each time. Try it, Heather. All right, real good shot. There, she demonstrated what we're trying to explain. If you slide your foot perpendicular to the foul line, you keep your right hip facing the target, and you have excellent accuracy.
Imagine your feet are under attack by many flesh-eating predators. That's athlete's foot. To cure them all, you have to kill them all. Lotrimin AF. Full prescription strength medicine. The brand doctors recommend most. Lotrimin AF. The killer cure.
Morning after after morning, nothing's quite as much fun as choosing which delicious Eggo fruit waffle it's gonna be. Blueberry, strawberry, apple, cinnamon, all with real fruit stirred in the batter. Give it a try. Eggo fruit waffles. Take your pick.
Now open up to a whole new Eggo fruit flavor. Yummy banana bread. Go Eggo bananas. Too good to let go.
Here's the easy way to a beautiful lawn. Miracle Grow Lawn Food. It stimulates root growth, helps fill in thin spots to give you a thick, beautiful carpet of green. Miracle Grow Lawn Food does all the work. You get all the credit.
If your game is in the pits, your team feels like the pits, maybe, just maybe, it's the shirts.
1-800-PBA Tour.
Our shirts are the pits.
No problem. Shirts are on their way.
Now it's time to put some color on your team and more fun in your game. It's amazing what a bunch of stripes will do for you. So, now you too can look like a winner and bowl like a pro. Just call 1-800-PBA Tour.
Civic Center, Erie, Pennsylvania. 2 games, 2 different winners. Branham in the first with 6 strikes. Shady in the second, also with 6. And now in steps Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Chris, the players bowled 42 games this week. There were 4 300s, 2 of them by Mike Edwards, who had a tidal wave of strikes. Some of the other players to make the top 40, Ozio Petraglia, Albee, and watch Norm Titus, who finished number 36, and look for some of your other top players in there. Ballard making a great comeback. Bob Learn is now a former champion, finished 11th. Ryan Voss. Ryan Schaefer looked better than I've ever seen him yesterday while he's bowling in the finals. Jim Johnson, a winner earlier this year. Curtis Odom. Paul Yoder. Harry Sullins, 3 consecutive top 24s. And Mike Luff. What a power ball he throws. Watch him. He'll be up in the top 5 one of these days.
Okay, and the upcoming stops. Next week on Long Island, Lake Grove, New York, 3 Eastern, back to our regular time, the Bud Light Championship. Then, followed by the Florida Open in Tampa, Florida, where in the championship game, a perfect 300 game will be worth $1 million. Now for match 3 in the Flagship Open, Walter Ray Williams Jr. on the left and Mike Shady.
Well, Mike Shady has won 1 tournament in his career and defeated one of the great ones, Park Barlin, so he should not be intimidated by Walter Ray Williams Jr., who admittedly was a little bit confused going out here. It would behoove Shady to nail him down early, though. Like that. Good start. Okay, a little clinic by Walter Ray here as you see him leave a 10-pin on his first shot. When the lanes are tough, and the ball is somewhat unpredictable, straighten the shot out, keep it in play. A real good start for Walter Ray. Despite a strike, he hit the pocket. Should I say despite not striking, hit the pocket.
Okay.
Now, we've seen Walter weeks and weeks when the lanes, what we call open up on the tour, take advantage of the big hook he can play. When the break is dependable and there's a nice groove to the pocket, by all means hook it so you maximize your carry. When you're not sure, straighten it out. That's the attack he's taking today.
Shady on the right lane. Strike up, shooting in the second. He leads. All right, now to Bob Learn Jr., 300 and a 282 average a year ago. Robert?
I'm with George Branham. George, I think you bowled great out there. It looks so critical out there, trying to make good shots. First arena finals, did that have any bearing?
A little bit. This is pretty awesome. It's kind of overwhelming, but I think after that 4th frame, I got a little soft with the ball and went high, and really didn't realize it until it was a little too late, and then I punched out, but it was too late then.
Well, you're a great performer, George. You know, I think the outside angle does have the advantage today. We'll have to see what happens.
All right, thanks, Bob and George. 3 in a row for Shady. Walter Ray's up. Strike working.
The full approach by Walter Ray, 17 feet. The approach. The lane, 60 feet. Pins, 3 pounds, 6 ounce.
Come on, get up there, come on. Yeah.
Oh, he flirts with the channel, Bo.
Well, I think Walter Ray's making a statement, more or less this year. He's in the last 16 tournaments. He's made the championship finals, Chris, 10 times. And he's starting to step in that category of the Dick Webbers, the Don Carters, the Mark Ross, the Earl Anthonys. That's a very elite air. And I'll tell you what, another year or two, you have to mention his name in the 5 all-time greats. Good break there. He pulls the shot. Now, if he's playing the big hook, he'd have probably had a 4-6 split. He breaks the 4-7 down. Has a relatively easy spare of the 7-pin.
Paige Pennington, Walter Ray's wife. So, the Jazz Band plays us into a break here in Erie, Pennsylvania. There they are. Chuck Lute, the director.
This is breakfast.
This is something McDonald's made famous. This is our latest invention. Say good morning to the my-size meal.
Good morning, my size meal.
Now when you buy any drink, coffee, soft drink, orange juice,
Any size.
and hash browns, you can get one of 4 hot breakfast sandwiches, like this sausage biscuit with egg, for just 55 cents.
55 cents.
Every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
55 cents every day?
I promise.
That's chicken feed.
This is fast.
I'm Carol Martin, and this is my McDonald's.
Last year, Americans spent over $2.5 billion on products for their backs.
Here's a nice item.
Why is this market so large? It could be that some people aren't sleeping on the right mattress. We'd recommend a Sealy Posturepedic Sleep System. Its patented coils give your back the correct support it needs. Posturepedic support, only from Sealy.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Baseball season is open and those bad boys are back in an ABC premiere event. Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Corbin Burnson, Rene Russo, and David Keith. The way these guys play ball gives new meaning to America's favorite pastime. The network premiere, Major League 2, ABC Monday.
Oh, that's a pretty good pair, I'd say. Thank you very much. Mike Shady now is up. Mike strung 3, shooting the 4th frame of the semifinal game. The winner to meet Tim Criss.
We've seen it so often, Chris, and it's happened to George Branham. He had a good analysis of his own game when he lost that last match. He decelerates and gets soft and gets very protective, and the ball will not hold. There's no hold in the center lane on the PBA Tour. You must keep that arm swing acceleration going, or you pay a penalty.
Okay, again, Bob Learn Jr.
Well, Tim, you both great all week, tournament leader. The lanes look like they're starting to calm down a little bit from inside. It looks like the guys outside are bowling good, but you've created something no one's had all week. How do you feel?
Well, I'm going to take my practice shots and see what it looks like. I think I'm probably going to try to play a little bit straighter than what I did all week. If that doesn't work, I'll go back to where I played them all week earlier.
I think that's a great move. Moving a little bit farther right, squaring up, staying out of trouble. I think you do a fine job. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good break. All of a sudden, Mike Shady has taken the same profile that George Branham did. George had that last match against him under control, and all of a sudden started aiming, fell asleep for 4 frames, let Shady back in the match. The same thing is happening today. As you see the graphic, the pin difference this year, 73.5 pins a game. There's a little bit different lane condition out there than last year. But it's still win or lose. Score is only relative.
The game where you can't recover from mistakes.
Boy, you're so right about that.
You can in golf, but you can't here.
Yes!
Tomorrow night on ABC, he starts with an hour for your family stars in America's funniest home videos. Then a special Sunday night edition of Primetime Live and the world television premiere of When Secrets Kill, based on the best-selling book and starring Gregory Harrison. That's tomorrow night on ABC.
I look for Walter Ray to go full throttle on this shot.
Come on, baby, yes!
That wireless microphone.
Well, he's showing his match game experience, Chris. The other players had guys in that position, and they get tentative. Walter Ray snaps it as hard as he can. That was his strongest shot, most determined shot of the match. Let's see how Shady responds. He trails by 17.
Yeah, the spare working.
Now, if you can just say high score, I would say Shady has a chance to bowl a higher score. He's playing the lanes a little bit more than Walter Ray. Walter Ray's trying to overpower him with a straight shot. So over a period of time, Shady would shoot the higher scores, but in a short run to the finish line, 5 frames, anybody can win.
A 2.
Shady just seems to have struggled. You know, if you're not out on the tour full-time, bowling like these guys do, and he used 9 different balls this week, sooner or later it's going to catch up with you. I'm not saying he's out of shape, but it's very difficult to beat the top pros when you're just doing it part-time, bowling league at home. He's got the experience, but he's not used to the tour pressure.
Popular Pittsburgh Steeler running back Jerome Bettis was part of the festivities this week, bowling in the Pro-Am. He bowled them over in football, too, didn't he?
This is Miracle Grow Lawn Food, the easy way to a beautiful lawn. It took years to develop these patented granules, but you'll start seeing results in just days. Miracle Grow promotes vigorous root growth, helps fill in thin spots, to give you a thick carpet of beautiful green. If you like what Miracle Grow does for your garden, you will love what Miracle Grow Lawn Food does for your lawn. And now, get rid of dandelions and other weeds with Miracle Grow Lawn Food plus Weed Control.
Work boots. Tough on the outside, tough on your feet inside. Not enough cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
I like being in control. With this new Dinerex, I control the cause of my dandruff every day.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula. Its medicine doesn't just treat the symptoms. It controls a leading cause of dandruff called Peel Valley.
Now that's serious control.
New Dinerex Advanced Formula.
It's arena bowling at its best. ERIE Civic Center, home of the ERIE Otters, hockey team from the Ontario League, and the home to many great stars, Dolly Parton, Alan Jackson, you name them. They've all appeared here.
Walter Ray ahead by 17, can make it 27.
Sixth TV appearance here in 1997.
Come on, man. Undoubtedly the best player in the world, Chris. Just a natural. He's an outstanding player, but he knows when to use his tools. He can hook the ball with the big boys, and he can throw it straight down there with the ropers, as we call them. And right now, he's taking the most expeditious way to win this match. Straight at him, stay out of trouble. Oh!
Little 6-7-10, Walter.
No, man. God.
Our camera angle picked that up very vividly. A slight pull by Walter Ray. He had been hitting the second board, and he goes high, and he needs to get over here in the 6-10 zone, slide the 6 over into the 7. Walter will throw it hard, straight. You may even hear the ball hit the thumb hole.
So it's an open frame for the world's best. 174 through the 8th. Oh.
Kind of a protective shot at the 6-7. He wanted to keep his count up. If he misses both the 6 and the 10, he has 172 in the 8th.
and that allows Shady to only throw a double to get back in the match. Now Shady needs a 3-bagger to get back in the match. Very smart play by Walter Ray.
5'7", 150. Walter Ray is 6'2", 180. Coming up next, the first major of the 1997 Senior Tour, the Tradition, presented by Countrywide. Four-time winner and defending champion is Jack Nicklaus. Coming up next on ABC Sports.
The biggest shot of the week for Mike Shady. He trails by 12, 9th frame semifinal game. Let's see how Walter responds, Chris. You know, he's given away his match in L.A. To Pete Weber. He gave us away his title match in Las Vegas. And here he's let Mike Shady right back in. He still trails, leads by 2. Going into the 10th, if Walter converts this 10-pin, he'll lead Shady by 2 pins, but cannot shut him out.
Done. All of a sudden he's become very quiet wearing that wireless microphone.
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you're 27 pins ahead working on a double, and all of a sudden you're down to the 10th frame. You can't shut out your opponent. The best he can do is 224. Shady will determine his own fate.
Busted it and it didn't hook back.
Walter Ray, a washout. Needs to get the ball to the left of the head pin, drive it into the 10. If he does not convert this spare, he'll finish with 199 or 198. Shady can win with just a mark.
Come on, baby, come on. Yeah.
Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Well, he came back, Chris, but the big trouble was the 6-pin count in the 10th frame. He has put Shady in a mark where he just needs 9 spare strike to win. Shady does not need to throw a double to go on to bowl Tim Criss for the championship. We have a possibility of a tie. We have not had one all year long. We will not have one today in this match. Mike Shady has come from behind to defeat Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Wow. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power. They say the red wolf only leaves its den to hunt. Must be feeding time. The new Red Wolf from Ebonite.
Sunday, a special prime time. We look in and around your home for hidden dangers. Garage doors, water heaters, unseen bacteria. Smart, practical ways to keep your family safe. A special primetime Sunday at 8, 7 Central.
She came to claim their daughter.
I'm your mother.
Get away from my family.
Now she's dead, and he's the prime suspect. If he didn't kill her...
Someone is trying to frame me.
Who did? Gregory Harrison, When Secrets Kill, ABC Sunday.
When you're looking for a minivan, there are a lot of points to consider, like dependability, convenience, safety. And when you make the connection, you get the new 98 Ford Windstar. It's easier to get in and out of. It's got plenty of room for people and cargo. And it rated highest in a recent safety test with 5 stars. Windstar is loaded with 40 standard safety features, so it hits the main points and everything in between, including your bottom line. See the new 98 Ford Windstar at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Tired of the same reruns on TV? Then get out and have some real fun at Red Crown Bowling Center. There's fun for the entire family, like Rock and Bowl every Friday and Saturday night. Tuesday night, Cosmic Happy Hour. The Bowl and Brew Lounge for Mom and Dad. A great snack bar for the kids. The fun never stops. Don't forget to ask about their special senior citizens rates. Red Crown Bowling Center, where there's a good time every day of the week. Located at 2471 Sycamore Street, right behind Fluorescent Supply on Paxton Street.
The Dennis Owens Sports Report. Weekends at 6 and 11.
This is Mike Tirico with the ABC Golf Team at Desert Mountain, the Cochise course in Scottsdale, Arizona. Once again, an unseasonably cool day greets the great names in senior golf like Jack Nicklaus, the 4-time champ, Ray Floyd, Lee Trevino, the 92 champ. They're all here. Hale Irwin, second in 96. Isao Aoki, second in 95. Aoki contending. Gil Morgan and Terry Dill tied for the lead. Our third round coverage of the tradition presented by Countrywide is next.
Well, first it was George Branham who won, and then Mike Shady has won the last 2, including a 9-strike win over Walter Ray Williams Jr. Shady goes in against their tournament leader, Tim Criss. Arena setting, excitement for everyone, including the players.
Well, Chris, we're going to have a new winner this year, and I think the question to be answered is, can Mike Shady keep coming from behind as he played out his last straw of clutching a match out? And number 2, Tim Criss, as nobody has won from the number 1 position on the PBA Tour, and can he break that string today?
Here's a little fellow that I've enjoyed watching out here today, other than the bowlers. He's called Shooty, and he's the Erie Otters mascot. Boy, is he active. I don't know where he gets his energy under the uniform that has to be hotter than hot. But here's a hot bowler, Mike Shady.
And he's been a winner out here. He's experienced the winner's circle.
Now our first look today at Tim Criss, but the 4th time on television in 1997 for him with a 5th, a 4th, and a 3rd. In match play, he beat Steve Jaros and Mike Shady. He was 14 and 10.
Gets a good break. The first frame trips out to 4-7. Tim Criss has not won a match in the championship round this year on the PBA Tour. And he would like to get out to a quick start. He's always dug a ditch for himself and really trailed early in matches. So it'd behoove him to get a double in the second frame.
All right. 9 strikes for Mike Shady in his victory over Walter Ray, shooting at .232.
Almost. That's the break that Criss got in his opening frame. He tripped out the 4-pin with a 2-pin. Now watch the action of the 2-pin, the 3rd pin on the left-hand part of your screen. It goes to the left sideboard, trips around, gets a little help from the 9, does not take out the 4, an easy spare.
Okay. Bob Learn Jr., Pride and Joy of Erie, once more.
Hey, Bobby Bo Burton here, and I know you're very active in the PBA Scholarship Fund. What can you tell us about it, pal?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm proud to be spokesperson for the PBA and this American Charities scholarship. It's a great way for the PBA to tie in, not only for promoting bowling, but also for higher education for the youth of today.
Good stuff, partner. And as we look at Mike Shady out there, he's a product of a full bowling scholarship to the University of Nebraska. A good friend of ours, and one of the great coaches, Bill Straub, who bowled on the tour, has developed tremendous talent out there. We saw Rick Steelsmith, who was a Wichita State graduate. He won our national championship last week. The college players are making their way on the PBA Tour.
Tim Criss of Bel Air, Maryland, is more a product of the regional play. He's won 8 titles regionally, but searching for that first national.
Off to a good start. I guess perfect is as good as you can get, huh, partner?
It is. Like you.
Last time I had 3 in a row.
Maybe you're 1050?
About 10 years ago.
There is a 10 pin.
Tim Criss is emblematic as you see him leave a weak 10. You watch the action of the 6 pin, the right-hand part of your screen. He's emblematic of the new type of player that's hitting the tour. It's the stroker type, smooth stroke. They have what we call a soft hand. They don't try to overpower it, saying like a Kelly Kaufman. Keep it in play and let the ball do the work.
All right, this is the championship game. Early in the game, but we'll be back.
It's 3rd and long. Clearly, they're thinking pass.
I'm telling you, Troy Aikman's 3rd down completion percentage is out of sight.
They line up in a passing formation, and Aikman is back to pass. He's looking.
He's got a receiver wide open.
He's still looking.
What's going on?
And, Aikman's down.
Oh, he had all the time in the world. You've got to ask yourself, what was this guy thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
Hey, wake up!
Wake up!
This is my McDonald's.
This is an Egg McMuffin.
And this is the greatest thing to happen to breakfast since the Egg McMuffin.
We call it a my-size meal.
Buy any drink, any size. Coffee, soft drink, orange juice.
And hash browns.
And get one of 4 hot breakfast sandwiches for just 55 cents.
Look at all these sizes.
55 cents, in honor of 1955, the year it all began.
Any size, every day.
If this doesn't get you going,
go back to bed.
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by Kellogg's, with good taste, nutrition, and value. The best you each morning from Kellogg's. Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And Ebonite. Bowl to win.
There's a great shot at Civic Center Arena. And the man that's won 2 matches to get into the finals. Trailing by 19, Mike Shady. There's a strike up though.
Come on, make a shot.
Make a shot, Bo.
Well, Shady has a fairly easy spare as you look at the profile of our 4 lanes. We're looking at 3 and 4. And he's just going to go across lane. He's going to stand here and there. I'm going to say he's going to use the center of the lane. There's not much oil to worry about. He'll be right down that arrow.
Okay. ERIE Civic Center. Managing director here, Bo, is a great guy named Casey Wells. And he won the top award of the Association of Arena Managers because of bringing Professional Bowlers Tour telecast into this facility.
Wow, well deserved, and it's just beautiful. Shady, 5th frame championship game. Both players need a win to qualify the Brunswick World Tournament of Champions.
Start, come on.
18.
For the fans that have watched the PBA Tour for many of its 36 years, remember the great Tom Hennessy from St. Louis? Here's a clone of Tom Hennessy right out there right now. Smooth stroking Tim Criss.
Three, 6, 7, 10, Nelson.
Well, no lead is sacred out here on the tour as every player gets in a position to lock up a match, and they make the same mistake. Decelerate, don't send the ball wide enough, pays the maximum penalty, leaves the 3, 6, 7, 10. He can make this. Get the ball to the right of the 3 pin. It's almost like shooting the baby split. Throw the 3 into the 7. The ball will do the rest. All right, Tim Criss with a mistake opens the door. His lead went from a potential 29 to now he is just 3 pins ahead. Sherry Criss a little disturbed with that last shot by her husband in the 5th frame.
It's so important for the wives, you know, that especially when their guys work so hard and hasn't gotten that first PBA win.
He'll get one. Will it be today? 5 frames from now? We'll know.
Good bounce back from the open frame. But Mike is quickly up, and he has a strike working. He's shooting now in the 6th of the title game. Flagship Open. Nancy and George Warren are the chairpersons who have really inspired the city of ERIE.
Well, both these players are showing what I've known for years, Chris. Unless you're on a real hot streak, a player has a tendency to pull the ball under pressure. As we're coming down the home stretch for the championship, both players pulling the ball left of target. And one thing these players both do very well is they extend through the shot. They give it a long arm shot. And under pressure, it always helps to accentuate that follow-through. Reach long with that shot. It'll cut down the pull.
Good concentration. And here we go once again to Bob Learn Jr.
I'm with Walter Ray. Walter, it looked like you had the match well in hand. Disastrous 8th frame, and then you moved in, and it looked like you all hung on you in the 10th. You've got an uncanny string of events here the last 3 shows you made. What's going on?
I guess I'm trying to get that Steve Nagy award and let my opponents win. I don't know, the 8th frame, I tugged a little bit, and then 10th frame, I just made sure I got it right. I was surprised it didn't hook back more, but I guess I didn't get any fingers in it because it didn't hook back.
Well, sorry, Bob, as Mike Shady strikes for the 4th consecutive time on the left-hand lane, the Steve Nagy Award, Chris, is for the nicest guy on tour, but they don't pay much for nice guys, Walter. You better step it up in the championship round next time.
All right, Tim Criss. Strike up, 7th frame. Lots of intensity, like the intensity on the faces of Kirk Von Kruger and Dave Schroeder, who are running this show. Kirk, the tournament director, and Dave, the publicity director. And Bobby Dinkins, another PBA official, has been entertaining the people here when we go away for commercials. Very funny guy.
All right, possible 23-pin lead with another strike. What a break. Mike Shady far from out of this match. His opponent Tim Criss going at a 223 pace. Shady a possible 240, but he has to conquer this testy right-hand lane. He has not struck on the right-hand lane this match.
Got it, baby.
He's put himself right back in the championship. One more strike, and it would be just a 3-pin lead for tournament leader Tim Criss.
And KARYN knows it, his wife, along the left side of the lanes as we look on.
Little bit of bounce on that one. Too much loft on the synthetic lane. The ball bounced just a pinch and did not flip up on the back end. You'll see it right here. He released it. See that bounce? Now the ball doesn't quite flip, and the 6 doesn't have the impetus to knock out the 10. He really needed that shot.
And Bo, while I have a moment, I want to say to the ESPN ESPY winner, Bob Learn Jr., that it was fun to have him help us out today.
Well, he did a terrific job, and I have to remind him he is now a former champion of the Flagship Open.
That's right.
Right now, every match has been given away at this point. Tim Criss has a chance to lock it up. Can he slam the door? 9th frame. .24-pin lead going into the 10th. All he needs is a real solid count, a 9 count on the first ball to lock up his first PBA title. But we've seen stranger things happen all year long on ABC. The tournament leader has never won a match. He could be the first. Strike or spare, he wins. Championship.
Oh. That's breaking that maiden knot. What a thrill that is. Oh, my. Tim Criss. #1. After 13 years, a member of the PBA. We'll be back.
So, where do you want this?
Hey now, I ordered a new copier.
This is better than new, my friend. Allow me to demonstrate. Oh, what do we have here? Wow. Enlarges, too. Even Coley. I'll take it.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
That was close. I didn't think I could shove this baby through.
We asked people to guess the name of this delicious cereal from Kellogg's.
Fabulous Almond Crunchy.
Surprisingly, no one guessed Healthy Choice.
Healthy Choice.
Healthy Choice Almond Crunch with raisins. Crisp almonds, raisins, brown sugar, and crunchy cinnamony flakes. Healthy Choice cereal from Kellogg's. Try it and see what you'd call it.
It really doesn't matter what it's called. The taste will sell it.
You only have one heart. And as part of a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet, Healthy Choice and 40 other Kellogg cereals can help you take care of it.
You're 5 minutes, Eva.
Okay, you ready? You look great.
Couldn't do without you, Lee. Especially after...
That's what I'm here for, huh? A few weeks ago, I was getting Eva ready for her close-up when I noticed something. Dandruff. So I told her about Head & Shoulders. The regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they can come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference?
White, please.
Mark, you look beautiful. Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Well, Tim Criss has made a believer of everybody. He can win on the PBA Tour, $18,000 and his first PBA title. Chris Schenkel, you're with the champion.
Standing and cheering, all these fans, Tim, and including the runner-up. Look at Mike Shady applaud you.
It's great. Mike bowled all week. He doesn't bowl out here full time, but when he comes out here, he's always a factor. He's a great bowler. And how about these ERIE fans? Aren't they great? They're the best.
And what about Sherry, Chris? Sherry?
What?
What do you mean, what? You just won your first PBA title.
I'm just so happy for him. He's worked so hard, and we've waited so long, and I'm just very proud of him.
You were never worried today.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Right now, I'll give you both a break to catch your breath. Nancy and George Warren are the chairpersons here, and always have been, and they have a beautiful trophy and a check. So, Nancy?
Here you go, Tim. Congratulations, and welcome to the Flagship Champions.
Thank you.
Okay, George.
Tim, congratulations. It's an honor to give you a check. I'd like to say one thing. ERIE brings out the best of the PBA, and you're one of them.
Your schedule now.
I
plan on bowling the rest of them, including next year's tournament champions.
This will put some money into that bank, won't it?
It always helps.
You'll have a few, I see you got a few things here that will get you a little more.
Yeah, it all adds up.
How much more?
Quite a bit.
How much?
I'd rather not talk about it.
It's not dirty to talk about money. Anyway, we'll see you next week in Long Island, the Bud Light Championship. Congratulations again, Tim. Thanks, Nancy, George, and Sherry. Goodbye.
Today's telecast of the Professional Bowlers Tour was produced by Carol Letty, directed by Norm Samet, technical director Michael Carmen, associate director Freddie Jeff King, production manager Lynn Catton, technical operations manager Richard Reed, stage coordinator Tom Gatewood, assistant to the producer Brian Zwolinski. Stay tuned now for some of the legends of golf in the tradition presented by Countrywide.